How many walking in Brooklyn, how often do you run into just like a line 50 people deep, just like for some shithole that you're like, for this one donut place?
If you're out in the mornings, those lines
Oh my God.
stretch for coffee places or like even bagel places too. But bagel places are usually pretty quick. Like they get your
Right.
good places like get your orders in and out. Coffee places, the lines are usually crazy because there's always like these boutique places and
And I really hate to sound like a boomer,
yeah.
but don't people fucking work anymore? Like, how do you have time to stand for 3 hours on a line for a mocha latte?
1, 2, 3, 4. These boys only want the best stuff. They want the cream of the crop. They don't want none of that Michael Bay shit. They want the shit that pops. Oscar bait, black and white. Maybe something French. If it's got more than one explosion, honey, put that shit on the bench. Oscar Wieners, Oscar Wieners, Oscar Wieners. These boys are the Oscar Wieners.
Yum, yum.
Oscar Wieners.
Welcome to Oscar Wieners.
Hurt my head and my ears and eyes.
Sounds like you're coming down with the Hamlet crazy disease.
They call it the plague where they're from.
The only podcast on the internet where Hollywood's biggest knight wants his mommy for himself. Doesn't want his unkie to take his mommy from him.
Baby want his baba?
I am Hamnet.
Nice. I'm Spamnet.
Nice.
Nice.
No, I'm Michael. He's Ander.
Howdy.
We are your wieners for the evening.
Just this evening.
Just this evening. And this is a podcast where every week we pick a Best Picture winner at random and try to figure out if it's Best Picture worthy. And this week we are talking about the 1949 Best Picture winner, written, directed, and starring Laurence Olivier.
Wow. Is he French?
Don't ask me that.
All right. Sorry. My bad.
God, now I have to fucking look this
Don't.
up.
It's fine. I don't think anyone really.
He was born in England. He was born in Dorking, Surrey, England, whatever the fuck that means.
What a fucking loser. He's born in Dorking. That sucks.
Yeah, and he plays King Dorkosaurus Rex.
He sure does.
No, Hamlet, it's the timeless story.
He
They
plays
based
John Hamlet.
they based a lion movie on it. Disney did. It's about Hamlet of Denmark. He's the Prince of Denmark. His father has recently passed, and his uncle, his father's brother, has taken over the throne and taken Hamlet's mommy, for himself. Let me get some of
That's
these names.
tough.
That is that you hate to see it. You really hate to see it.
do, yeah.
Claudius is the king, the uncle / king, and then Gertrude is Hamlet's mother and the queen.
So Hamlet doesn't have a last name. His last name is like of Denmark.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, what if you have a friend named Hamlet who's also from Denmark?
You fucking don't. Yeah, so Hamlet, he's very angsty. He's very pissed. But he kind of doesn't really know why. He's just sort of like he's like grieving, but he's also angry. But he gets he almost gets confirmation of like why he's this feeling, this weird feeling that he has about the death of his father. After some guards are like, "Hey, Hamlet, there's like we've been seeing your dad's ghost for like a few nights now. Can you come talk to him? He hasn't said anything to us. He might talk to you."
What fucking whack ass logic that is. Come talk to we saw your dad's ghost. We figured he might talk to you. And it works because he does.
And he's like, okay, so here's the deal, Hamlet. Your uncle, my brother, put a few little drippy droppies in my ear and killed me.
That's
Now,
not good for me.
no, that sucks for me. Now you have to get revenge for me on behalf of me on your uncle's ass.
I find it odd that we get no real referendum on what is his name? Is his like Hamlet Senior?
Yeah, he's also Hamlet.
We don't really know who he was or what kind of guy he was. Clearly he's a vindictive bastard because he's like, kill everybody involved in this and possibly your mom because she betrayed me.
Yeah, this movie, because performed as written, the play is like about 4 hours. So Laurence Olivier cut out like a bunch of stuff just to like streamline it, which I think was and maybe still is controversial for the two people who give a shit about such a thing these days.
And those two people, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Thank you very much.
I recently read Hamlet for the first time.
Recently?
Yeah, like a few weeks ago. Right before watching this movie. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, maybe seeing it performed, I would think they're cool and fun. Reading it, I was like, can we get these guys out of here? They're so useless. They serve no function. I kind of am glad that Lawrence cut them out because I'm like, I don't know why they're here.
Oh, that's what I thought reading it in high school too. I was like, these guys are revered as characters. I mean, I guess there's the whole Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
Yeah.
Which is another famous Broadway spinoff. I don't really know what it
by Tom
entails,
Stoppard.
Yeah, but people seem to like it.
My memory of the play is like their dialogue is very like they're sort of like almost the same person, and like you can't really differentiate who's like saying what. Almost as like they're one unit, and I think maybe there's supposed to be comedy that comes just from that. But mostly
that'd be funny, I guess.
They're literally there because the king and queen are like, hey, can you talk to Hamlet and figure out what's going on with him? But like there are other characters and scenes that get that information, so I'm like, I don't even know why they're here.
Right, like they have those guards that are Hamlet's buddies.
Yeah. And even the whole setup
friends,
with,
by the way, they're just like, hey man, are you okay? Like, are you good?
Yeah.
Talk to somebody.
Yeah.
You just saw the ghost of your father. That's probably traumatic, right?
And then Hamlet's like, sorry, I don't have any insurance. We can't see a therapist.
Yes. My life.
You think being the prince is all it's cracked up to be? We get no health insurance. It's funny though, because like reading it versus watching the movie, like I don't know, I found Hamlet kind of the play like, when you're not seeing something performed, you kind of have to read between the lines. And I think that's why Shakespeare's stuff is so like interpretable. And kind of like is why it maybe part of why it's so like has lasted for so long. And so like
odd that we just
sorry,
read it in high school.
It is really weird. And like we don't really watch we watch like clips from movies, but it's like, oh no, there's boobs, we can't watch the whole thing or whatever. Like
thanks, public education system. Private school, they see boobs.
No, but like, and watching the movie, I was like, not that this is the only version of Hamlet. Like the only way you can do Hamlet is the way Laurence Olivier does it. But like I found the way he was able to kind of like track Hamlet's moods and like make it sort of feel motivated by like what is happening. I found it like really like elegant, and I was like, oh, this actually makes me like the play even more because Hamlet's less obscure. He's like more, I understand why he's doing things. Like in the play, the whole scene where Polonius, Ophelia's dad, and the king and the queen are hiding behind the curtain, classic. And they're like,
iconic, yeah.
Ophelia, we think Hamlet's kind of acting kooky because he's in love with you. So we're going to kind of we're going to kind of entrap him and see if we can get the truth out of him. So just like talk to him and see what happens. And in the play, you don't, or at least reading the play, And maybe when they performed it fucking 400 years ago, they did this, and like I'm just like stupid or whatever. But in the play, it doesn't give the stage direction that Hamlet hears them going over this plan. So in this movie, when Hamlet enters the scene, he knows that Ophelia is setting him up and that everybody's behind the curtain. So he's mad at her and he's lashing out at her because he knows that she's setting him up. And he's like, I thought we like were in love with each other, and you're like just like trying to get one on me or whatever. Like you're working for them kind of thing. And I was like, oh, that's when I was reading and I was like, why is he like being a dick to Ophelia? Like leave her alone. Do you like Hamlet? Did you like reading Hamlet back in high school?
Did I like reading it? No. Um,
Wow.
I mean, how are you supposed to like any of Shakespeare's works if they're just being read by a bunch of sweaty teens, either back from lunch or just looking to get to lunch? Yeah, I don't know if I owe this movie an apology or if this movie owes me an apology.
Got it.
Um, because really, it just could not penetrate through my thick skull. I have a very, very low tolerance for one, ye old English. Could barely understand what they were talking about. I needed subtitles for this. I'm sure I'm not alone in that experience. And two, just like Shakespearean bullshit. I'm sorry. I just have a low tolerance for it. I'm not a fan of his. I know we've covered Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah.
I think that made it palatable because the story really wasn't Romeo and Juliet. It was about Romeo and about Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff to hang on to with this movie. Like the sets are really brilliantly designed. The lighting is really captivating. Laurence Olivier, he's one, doing a lot of shit, and two, he's acting his little ass off, which I respect and appreciate. But my enjoyment of this was so null, so non-existent, so far below zero that I cannot in good conscience give this anything higher than a 1-star rating.
What?
I'm so sorry. This might be user error. I was conflicted. In fact, I was so conflicted, I watched this a second time, which is perhaps the first time in history that someone hated a movie and said, let's run it back. But I did. I watched this 2 times, and it did not enhance my enjoyment.
I mean, if anything, that makes you kind of an expert of your own opinion. Like it's not just an initial reaction you're basing it off of. It's like, no, I've actually sat with this now for 5 hours. And I just don't like it.
Well, because I worried that my first year, I was like, I mean, I'm just like not in the right headspace. Because like there were aspects of it that I liked. The music is also really brilliant, and dramatic. But it just amounts to the dialogue and the characters that I really could not care less about. They're all so moody and needy, and people just don't talk like this. Like for a long time held on to the belief that, all right, this is Shakespeare. He's covering something essential that was he captured the essence of 1500, whatever the hell, whenever Hamlet took the scenes.
I think it was like 1598 or some shit like that.
If it's actually 1598, I owe you $1.
1599. That was close.
Damn, that's pretty good. That's a snipe.
I mean, it's not like I just like knew that offhand. I just like I've been thinking about Hamlet for like a couple weeks, so I was just like
concentrated on Hamlet so fucking hard.
That's from the Wikipedia page. Yeah, Okay. I astral projected to fucking the Rose Theater or whatever the fuck it was called. What was it?
You were Guildenstern.
Yeah.
But thinking back, people back then didn't talk like this. They didn't monologue for minutes on end. That's a Shakespearean invention, or maybe an invention of playwrights at the time. But like, at what point did they just start to write characters that talked like people? I just can't. It's not going to appeal to me unless I can relate to the goings on in this film. And like, none of these characters behave like people. They behave like actors on a stage. It felt like a filming of a stage play rather than an actual movie.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I love this movie. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought so. I did watch it over the course of like 2 days. I think just because of time and also just like I think as much as I love it, I'm also like, I can't really sit with this. Like even reading Shakespeare, it's like, all right, I'm gonna read like one act, which is like 30 pages. Like I can sit with Shakespeare for that long. If I were to sit down and read a whole play, or if I were to go to a production and have to sit there for like 3 hours, I think I'd be like, can I like take a break and just like
Yeah.
relax my brain for a second?
In hindsight, that actually might be the optimal way to enjoy this
Yeah.
movie. To watch a bit, watch one of the acts, take a break, and then come back to it.
I do think it took me like 40-ish, like the first like 40-ish minutes to like really get into it. Like I feel like I started loving it like about an hour in. Um,
There is a part where it does pick up some steam.
yeah,
But then I think after his mom dies, it just completely deflates.
that's near the end, right? It's like the last like 30 or so minutes.
Yeah, there's like a period of,
How does she
but
die
like
again?
I couldn't tell you.
Because I know Ophelia, obviously Ophelia goes out in the water, very iconic. She like drowns herself.
That was truly a so what type of death. I'm sorry. She just goes crazy and passes out in a river and drowns.
You know, reading it, I was like, again, it was like it was like similar with Hamlet's character where I was like, I can't really get a handle on Ophelia. But watching it, I understood it a little bit more. It's like, her dad dies. Imagine this, your boyfriend kills your dad. And she's like she's still in love with Hamlet, even though he's treating her like shit. And she's like, why is he being an asshole to me? Um, and then like he kills her dad. Like, I don't know, I can kind of see that sending me a little bit off the deep end. That's kind of a lot to process as a person. So I kind of understand it.
And him negging her is like part of his plan to make people think that he's gone mad.
Yeah, he's trying to make people think that he's crazy. Why?
Suspicious look if you're the only one who seems sane as all this chaos is happening around you. It's
Right,
typically
right. Oh, right. Yeah, yeah, totally.
cause of it.
Yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, that's a perfect way of putting it. Yeah.
But it's not explained. There's no real exposition on it. It's just, this is my plan and it's going to work flawlessly. And I guess it really doesn't because everyone's dead. Which thanks, ghost of my father. Hope you're happy. Your whole family's dead.
Yeah, so another thing that was cut out, other than Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, there was this whole subplot in the play. If you recall, you probably don't because high school was a million years ago. But
William.
there's a whole like kind of political subplot where like there's tension brewing between Denmark and fucking like Norway or something.
Yeah.
And it's like the son. It's like old Hamlet acquired, like, let's just say it's Norway's like half of their stuff in some kind of
Okay.
like battle. Like he won a duel with the king of fucking Norway, and now that king is dead, and that king's son is pissed at Denmark and wants to invade Denmark to like get that land or whatever back. I think something like that.
Curious that's how they just settled disputes.
Yeah, it's like let's have a sword fight.
Let's see your king go toe to toe with our king. Our king will kick your king's ass.
Yeah, so like just the idea of like old Hamlet, like he's sort of, you could read it as like, oh, he's just like held up as like this fucking god, but like not that what he did was evil, but it's like, yeah, he's like a fucking conqueror like every other shitty king, like, and he's like stealing people's land, and like it's not like he's like a good guy, but like Hamlet is like, he loved his daddy, so
Yeah, but that's
I don't
anything. Like is that supposed to solicit sympathy from us?
I don't know, maybe just complicate old Hamlet. It doesn't really matter because it's not in the movie. I think like wisely, even that stuff, I was kind of glad that Olivier cut it because I was like, I don't really give a shit about that anyway. Like, I don't really
No.
care.
Well, some political intrigue. I'll never say no to it.
Yeah, but I kind of like the idea of the play being confined to what the fuck's it called? Like Elsinore or whatever the palace
Yeah,
is.
whatever the hell.
And it's like everybody in this palace is just like fucking rotting from within. Like, and it's everything's
Yep.
so insulated. I think this movie looks so. Do you think this movie looks good?
Yeah, the movie
It
looks great.
looks so good, and there's
Yeah.
so many cool fucking like camera moves and crane shots. And I think like Olivier does this thing where it's like a lot of the time the movie feels like almost as if you're from the perspective of Hamlet's ghost watching everybody.
Yeah.
Like you get the sense that the camera is the ghost haunting the fucking castle, and that's just
Yeah.
like a really cool. That's like something you can't do it in a play, like, but a camera can do that. Um,
Listen,
Yeah.
it's great. I got tired of it pretty quickly.
oh, see, I'm such a little dirty, little trashy, little slut
All right.
for just like style. I'm like, just give me style all day. I'll watch that shit and
Listen,
just love it.
Can I ask you a Shakespearean question?
Yeah, I probably don't know it, but yeah.
The Alas Poor Yorick scene. It's this iconic scene.
Yeah.
What is the significance? Why is it so popular? He's just like, whose skull is this? Oh, it was a jester that worked for my dad. Okay. I don't understand. Like, it's not really symbolic of anything. It's not it's not a skull of a character that we know or are familiar with. Like,
I
oh yeah, I used to know this guy. End of scene. That's insane. I was like, that's it.
I wish I had like rewatched this movie also. That scene, watching it as Olivier portrayed it, I was like, oh yeah, this is like adding some thematic juice to like what's going on, but I don't remember what that was.
Okay.
I think like it, has to, like the whole play is like about death, there's fucking ghosts. It's like everybody's dying, everybody's like plotting against each other. It's like I think he's just thinking about the reign of his father. I think he's thinking about his own death. Because also there's the whole play, the To Be or Not to Be. I don't know if you've heard of that one. It's it's
What's
like
that from?
I think it's from Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker.
Right. I remember
Um,
that. Yeah, Obi-Wan.
Uh, it's like, is death better than living? Because like living, at least I can
No.
anticipate what's coming. Because like I know, like death is not a release because we don't know what happens after death. We don't know what what is occurring in the undiscovered country. We don't know what goes on there. It might be more horrifying than life.
Life is way better. Unequivocally.
You don't know that. It might be worse. It might be better.
So life is all I know, and life is pretty good as I know it. So I'll stick with life if you gave me the choice. What is Hamlet learning from this experience? We don't know. He's dead.
Yeah.
There's no evolution past this. There's no recovering from trauma. There's no development. He's just dead for the sake of drama.
All right. Yeah. What's the tough thing about talking about Hamlet as a thing, like the play or whatever, is just like it's one of the most talked to death things ever. So I just like everything I say, I'm like, I'm sure there are people have like there's probably been a million reasons for what I'm saying, like that are way better in eloquence. I'm just like, whatever. I don't know. I like it. That's all I could say about it.
And that's all that truly matters.
Yeah.
I like Lion King.
I love
Shakespeare.
I love this movie. I will probably watch it in the future. I've like there have actually been times in the last little bit where I'm like, should I put on Hamlet?
No.
Just for the sake of it. It's on Tubi for free.
It is on Tubi for free, which I do appreciate. It's also on like the Shakespearean YouTube network or something.
I'm sorry.
You're excused. Then I forgive you.
Any other thoughts on Hamlet?
I guess it says something that his work has carried on for 400 years, but at the same time, you can't write a character and expect it to be good 400 years later and resonate with all audiences. So,
see, I do. I mean, I don't resonate with Hamlet specifically for his specific circumstances, but like Hamlet. How old do you think Hamlet is? I think he's like supposed to be like 16.
yeah, I'd probably say maybe he's like 18.
Yeah, like between 16 and 18, I would say.
Yeah, like he's probably getting ready to get married.
I mean, he'll be dead in like Even
Right.
if he lived, he'd be dead in like 20 years
Yeah,
anyway.
he only would have extended his life like 4 more years.
Yeah, so like I do really identify with just like Shakespeare really captures the moodiness of being like a teenager, especially a teenage boy, I would say, but like just like fucking all over the place. I mean, I never wanted to kill anybody, but yeah, I was like angry and then like I was fucking frolicking around like a little doofus. I was getting in shipwrecks.
That was a problem, by the way.
Yeah, I was lifting up my dead friend's bones and monologuing about it. Like I do think he does get at something about like how a young person is just like a fucking person with 1,000 faces. They're constantly shifting because they haven't settled into like a final form yet.
Just go watch Spider-Man 3 when Peter has his
Bully Maguire,
Bully Maguire phase.
I guess.
Same effect.
All right. You hate it. I love it. What else is new?
That's the way it goes.
Would you like to hear the other nominees for the year 1949?
Frankly, not really.
Really? Wow.
No, let's see. Let's see who's what are they turning out in 1949?
So first up, we have Gene Negulesco's Johnny Belinda, a small town doctor who helps a deaf mute farm girl learn to communicate. That's it.
All right.
That sounds fine. I don't know.
I'm probably not gonna watch it.
I'm never gonna watch it.
You know what I've been in the mood to watch lately? I'm gonna watch it soon, I think.
What?
Babe.
Babe?
Yeah.
You know what's so funny is I rewatched our Braveheart episode. I was like, I gotta fucking watch Babe.
I gotta watch Babe, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, next up. This is one of the famous, like one of the two really famous movies. It is Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger, a very famous filmmaking duo. It is their movie The Red Shoes.
This is famous?
Pretty famous, yeah.
Okay.
It's in the Criterion Collection.
Wow.
Vicky Page is an aspiring ballerina torn between her dedication to dance and her desire to love, while her imperious instructor, Boris Lermontov, urges her to forget anything but ballet. Vicky begins to fall for the charming young composer Julian Craster. Eventually, Vicky, under great emotional stress, must choose to pursue either her art or her romance, a decision that carries serious consequences.
You can either dance or love. Which would you choose?
You can't do both. I would choose loving. I don't need dancing.
I would also probably choose love. But sometimes you're just dancing and you're like, it makes it tough for sure.
Like ballet, I don't need to do ballet.
Not ballet, I don't care about ballet.
But if I'm shaking my groove thing, I guess I kind of see where you're coming from.
I'm talking dancing like the fun aunt at a wedding.
Right.
That's what I don't want to give up.
3 pina coladas deep.
Yes, sir. That's better than love.
It's to be a kind of tipsy aunt.
Yes.
Dancing at a wedding.
When I go, I want to be reborn as a tipsy aunt.
Yeah, I don't know. The Red Shoes, very famous. I will see it one day. Maybe should have won. I don't know. Next up, we have Anatole Litvak's The Snake Pit.
Ooh.
Virginia Cunningham is confused upon finding herself in a mental hospital with no memory of her arrival at the institution. Tormented by delusions and unable to even recognize her husband, Robert, she is treated by Dr. Mark Kick, who is determined to get to the root of her mental illness.
Sorry.
As her treatment, laughing at somebody in a psychiatric facility.
Hi, I'm Mark Kick. This is my assistant, Dr. Dave Punch.
As her treatment progresses, flashbacks depict events in Virginia's life that may have contributed to her instability. Sounds good. I don't know if I'll ever see it, but
I would like it if there was like a Hitchcockian twist element to it. If there was some sort of like mystery suspense aspect.
It does
go hard.
It does a little bit sound just kind of like a trying to be a, just like a let's take mental illness seriously and make a drama about it.
All right.
That's what it sounds like, at least. But I'm kind of with you. I'd love like a little thriller twist or something. Like the doctor's like evil or some shit.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Or like a figment of her imagination or something like
that. Right. Yeah. And finally, this is the movie I've seen. It is a five-star masterpiece. It is John Huston's The Treasure of the Sierra Madre.
Oh, I have heard of this.
Badges, we don't need any stinking badges.
Oh, that's famous.
Starring Humphrey Bogart, Bogey.
Bogey.
Two jobless Americans convince a prospector to travel to the mountains of Mexico with them in search of gold, but the hostile wilderness, local bandits, and greed all get in the way of their journey. Yeah, it's really fucking good. I saw it when I was like 15 and haven't seen it since. I have it on Blu-ray. I gotta rewatch it.
Nice, very good. Is it in color?
No, it's in black and white.
Okay. Are movies in general in color yet? No, right?
In the 40, yeah, because you had Wizard of Oz in 39.
Okay. My bad.
I don't know what the first color movie is, but I think yeah, there were movies in color because it's 48. This is like pretty late.
Was that 3D to them?
Black color?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Movies were being made in 3D was just like we'll make Around the World in 80 days in color because Spy Kids came out and it's got we're gonna have stuff like reach out at you through the screen. You know what I'm saying?
You think they knew Spy Kids was coming and that's why they made Around the World in 80 Days in color?
I mean, don't you think that those are spiritual successors?
Yeah, Treasure of the Sierra Madre is great, and I highly recommend watching it. Apparently, like Paul Thomas Anderson, when he was directing There Will Be Blood, he watched Treasure of the Sierra Madre every single day,
That seems unnecessary.
like during the production, which like he seems like a slightly unhinged guy.
That's another movie I want to watch. So maybe I would watch both back to back.
Yeah, because they're both about like crazy guys like in turn of the century America trying to
That's cool.
get that bag.
That's all well and good, but frankly, what you have to say, I don't really care.
Yeah, I've gotten that over the course of 70 some odd episodes.
Frankly, what I have to say, I could care even less.
I've also gathered that.
Yeah. You know what I do care about? The people of the internet. Would you like to hear the opinions of the people about Hamlet?
Sure.
Give me the name of Mr. Olivier's close companion and or relative and friend.
Oliver Lorenzo.
Nice. Oliver Lorenzo says, 4 stars. Laurence Olivier is totally deserving of his Shakespearean reputation. Not only is his performance spectacular, but his choices as a director are quite avant-garde, especially for the 40s. His sets are barren and angular, reminding me at times of German Expressionism. If you're not familiar with Shakespeare, I highly recommend reading the story before watching, or at least reading a summary before watching. As it has been a while since I studied Shakespeare and the language is quite dense, I don't think I got as much from this watch as I could have, but I look forward to more of his adaptations.
That's too polite for the cesspool that the internet is, you know what I'm saying?
Give me the name of somebody who was born from this cesspool.
Spit Dirtshire.
Nice. Spit Dirtshire says 1 solitary star. Boring. Tried to watch this as prep for my literature final because I didn't actually want to revise, and I fell asleep real fast and realized I hate Hamlet in all its adaptations. Imagine studying for your final because Hamlet is on the final, thinking, oh, I'll watch the movie instead, and the movie is actually even more boring. Give me the name of somebody who is giving mama a big old smooch on the cheek.
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci says 2 stars. What the fuck was this? No, I'm serious. What the fuck was this? Why were they kissing their moms/sons? I watched it for a class and was concerned the entire time.
Their relationship is kind of like Oedipal or whatever. It's like, are they into each other?
And it's not elaborated on any further.
No.
Because why would we?
It's psychosexual. Don't you guys get it?
Last review. Give me the name of someone who is sitting down at the blackjack table as we speak.
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman, who indeed did just sit down at the table at Atlantic City, says 2 stars. I can tell my brainwaves are so cooked because when Hamlet held the skull and went, "Alas, poor Yorick," all I could think of was the Balatro Joker. And that's something I'm pretty sure you don't understand, but I
What?
just had to get it out there for my Balatro heads out
The
there.
fuck is a Balatro Joker? Is this like some sports shit?
No, it's the opposite, and I won't elaborate any further. I'll tell you when you're older.
Thanks for those. Next week we are gonna talk. Oh man, we're really getting down to the wire.
Whoa.
Let's
crazy.
talk Tom Jones. Let's just fucking get it out of the way.
Oh,
Let's just
okay,
get it out of the
awesome.
way. Until next time, if you ever find yourself dating a boy who's just kind of going a little kooky off the deep end,
A little nutso.
and you're like, I'm going to take a dip in the water and die forever, I want you to stand at the precipice of that water on your little itty bitty toesies, and I want you to have a second think about it.
Yeah, take a second.
I want you, instead, if you're so obsessed with water, to buy a hot dog cart.
Oh, I was shocked by this.
I want you to fill that pool up with just the murkiest, herkiest, jerkiest water you ever saw, and get it to a nice boil.
Mm-hmm.
Then I want you to get some ballpark franks, cut open that nasty little package, and let those suckers boil in there for, I don't know, 5 minutes. I don't really know how long it takes to boil a hot dog anymore. 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
They probably didn't know how to do it in the 1500s either. So you're
They
good.
were eating raw meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I just want you to become a business lady or man, because Hamlet isn't worth it.
No.
And you can actually get a lot of pleasure out of serving the community hot dogs
Yes.
with mustard, ketchup, relish, diced onion, a little chip crumble on top, like potato chip crumble. I don't know.
Oh, I like that. That's a new addition.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. That just came to me. I just
Really? You never had? I feel like that would be good.
I had like a
Salt and
blast
vinegar.
of yeah.
Should we start a business? Cut this part out in case you want to start a business.
Okay, yeah. All right, never mind. Scratch that.
Forget it.
If you ever find yourself in Hamlet times, I don't know, go fart. Bye. Bye-bye. See you next week.
1, 2, 3, 4. These boys only want the best stuff. They want the cream of the crop. They don't want none of that Michael Bay shit. They want the shit that bops. Oscar bait, black and white, maybe something French. If it's got more than one explosion, honey, put that shit on the bench. Oscar Wieners, Oscar Wieners, Oscar Wieners. These boys are the Oscar Wieners. Oscar Wieners.
Have you ever gotten like a present from like a relative as a kid and it's like a card game and you're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
I'm a child. I don't play with fucking paper. Such a screen. Aunt Hilda. It's so true.